invite tournament.
I think so. I mean, again, VP, I think it's very obvious with them that they have so much experience, been around for so long. They need the stage, they need the pressure to really elevate themselves and be like, well, this is more important than just any random match. They need something that really gives them that a reason. And that's just, I think that's just how they are.
I heard they're not the. It's not necessarily that they're great friends outside the game, but they understand how to make it work when it matters.
That's a very important, crucial skill. Mousesports, they have that B-bomb site, and Bomb is just waiting by Pop Dog at the moment, so this is interesting. He still hasn't moved. The bomb is still at Pop. The bomb is still at Pop. This is kind of crazy. Seeker was waiting for the rotation. I guess he wanted to kill the rotation, then actually, oh wow, Stacks. He's on his ice skates, sliding up the stairs. And just Oscar left alive, but not for too long. That is a very strange situation. I think, I mean, it just feels like Stiko's waiting for that rotation so he can get the kill, go through Pop, get the bomb down on A, and the guy never came or something.
I think they were supposed to split outside with him going down ladder late, but they didn't want to do that. I think he slowed it down because his teammates died in C. But I think Virtus Pro, as soon as they saw the smoke went down, they realized they were pushing through Z. They were happy to just run through instead of go for the big rotate around, because that's what Mousesports were waiting for. So they didn't respect it. Ends up paying off, and maybe Mousesports get those kills, because they did have to come through smokes, but it probably caught them off guard.
So now it's just a matter of trying to get some damage in with these pistols, and so far so good. Actually, Oscar gets himself one, just crab walking through the flames as you do. And that's actually a 4v3 for Mousesports. They're in a great position. It's very sad that they don't have any utility from this position, but that should be okay. They can use the numbers here as they move in towards that B-bomb site. Taz he'll meet Stiko, and it won't be too friendly of a meeting. And it looks like Mousesports have done it. And not only that, they've got the bomb down. It's only freshly planted. They've got all the time in the world to pick up all the guns, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, they pick everything up. They got full armor to work with on this round, so they're happy, really happy they won. Virtus Pro lose the second round. I mean, we've seen it happen many, many times. I didn't expect it to happen for some reason in this game. I think I was definitely the person who didn't think that this time Virtus Pro would come back. Before Epicenter, I didn't think they'd be able to come back again. I didn't think they'd be able to keep up the form. And then they did. I was just so blown away. And now my frame of mind for how I look at these teams is completely different. Like, starting to see like Steel and Daze and that whole situation where they're in Premier. There's been conversations about how it's actually more difficult for them to win against Premier teams than it is invite teams, that they understand how they play. Teams are less studied, they are a little bit more crazy, but they're also full of like really good, hungry, up-and-coming aimers, so...
Yep. It's always good. Quick round here from Mouse. We see that force back from VP to try to equalize the situation, but not going to go too well for them. Actually, I'm not sure that they did force. Ooh, that's some good damage there from Stacks. Headshot perhaps, that would always go down very well. Good VP's push, but that will be all she wrote. So it's just one player lost again. Mousesports are making a lot of money really quickly right now.
All it takes is a couple of rounds of SMG kills and no deaths, and you're up to 10 plus K. So yeah, they're stacking paper.
Stack that cash. The greenbacks. Benjamins.
The greenbacks. What color is your money? Blue?
No. The same as yours, I think.
Yeah? USD?
It's... yeah, I'm pretty sure, but the funny thing is I actually never use cash, almost ever.
You can't even remember?
You
haven't used it in so long.
I haven't used it in really, yeah. Kind of nuts, but it is
I would like to ask production if that's...
It's basically the same color as...
If that's understandable.
US currency, more or less. I think it's close enough. I think it's I imagine it's like a different shade or something, a similar color.
I could have sworn that it was like purple or blue.
Maybe you think of euros. With euros, you do get like some different colored notes.
Okay.
But with the British pound, We don't. I think it's pretty standard sort of.
Have you seen Canadian money?
And silvers and greys.
Have you been to Canada?
No, I have not been to Canada yet, actually.
What, are you racist?
No, just you know, hate Canadians. So.
Okay. I guess that's not racist.
Right. So, double up for VP. That's yesterday actually a big part of the storyline with VP was the fact that they were hamstringing themselves by never getting a full buy. And whenever they got orbs, they got the opening kill. And here it is. The opening kill didn't last very long. Traded out by Stiko. That's very responsible stuff. Stiko's going to collect the orb, perhaps only for a certain peak that he wants there from B. Wouldn't imagine that they want. In fact, okay, just Rob's on the AWP. Okay. Sunny creeping in the yard, the outer bomb site. And he's found himself. Oh, I don't think he pulled his knife out with that intention, but he'll take it. Sunny. Looking good at the moment. Another frag in the outside for him. As it's going to be now one more challenger and an easy frag for Stiko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought so at first as well, but
Thanks for catching that.
But 4-1, Mousesports. They had a wealth of opportunities there. Rops, I feel like Rops could have done something, but Sunny, he managed to create a play as well. Oh, hello. I feel like he pulled his knife out, not to knife someone. I don't think he had registered there was a player coming out the smoke yet. Maybe he knew. You think he knew?
Yeah, I think so. I think Sunny's a cold-blooded killer. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a true savage.
Straight back in there. I do think the 1R8 actually makes a lot of sense. I actually do think 1R8 makes a lot of sense, and I love that idea.
I think it's just a fidget spinner.
That is what's happening right now, but I do think it makes sense because it's on the very incredibly long ranges, like maps like Train. You have all these really long avenues. A gun like this is going to be able to get a solid tag for that 85 damage and be sort of consistent in that way, whereas the other pistols can't really have that same consistency. But at the same time, because it's so situational, you only really want one. And I like that because we don't really have many things like that in Counter-Strike. Usually it's like, oh, it's CZ. Well, why not just have 5 of them? They're just amazing. Like, most things are sort of like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's something different. Oh, are they gonna do the drop? Huh? They kind of did it in a strange way where like Rob's got on the ladder instead of just walked off with him.
Can be scary.
But you know what's weird about the revolver? It's like it has no recoil. Like the CZ when it shoots, it has like no recoil. It stays still. Same with this, and it's such a big shot too on its part.
Hey, look at that tag on Stiko. This is straight 85 damage. It's legit.
Yeah, it is legit.
That's pretty legit.
No, it's undeniable.
It's a scout.
It has impact.
So it's cool. I like it. I like that experimentation.
It's just not as satisfying. I think it's just maybe it's satisfying for someone else. Maybe it's just me. But I feel like the Deagle is so punishing that if you get a kill with it, it feels so good.
Yeah, it does. Okay, well it's 5-1 for Mousesports on the T side. Having a pretty good time of it at the moment. This is the second proper buy of VP where we'll see the double orbs coming out. And previously Snacks found an opening towards the upper area of B. But then Mousesports were able to very quickly trade back and then find openings outside with Sunny, and he's back at it again, it seems.
Olaf is a very common position to try to sneak terrorists out to. CTs don't have a great position to deal with this easily, and they're actually leaving L completely open. That means was kind of bold defense right there.
Sunny's having so much fun at the moment. His job, being that first guy to creep outside, and then you have Oscar getting the pick on the guy at alley, and then all of a sudden Sunny just has the most easy engagements to get that 2K. And the round is basically won. So he's really having his role is going well at the moment as the main aggressor in yard.
That round it was made easy for him. There was somebody I think that was supposed to watch for him at Train Stopper, and that guy was kind of Pasha's guardian, but that guy died, and then he was able to just walk out. I think when he saw that kill, though, he knew, like, I can just move a lot faster here.
Yeah, Oscar made his life somewhat easier. Mousesports about to get 6 rounds here. Taz, he's surely not going for a ninja. Is he actually going for a ninja? He has a kit, so
I hope so.
It's pretty. That's the only thing I think he can be considering from this position. This is a great position for it. If he was to go for it... Okay, you got Oscar watching for it. Okay, nice. Nice. No shenanigans. Denied, ultimately. I reckon I'm going to try that wingman thing today.
Wingman?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do it. 2v2.
Yeah.
You get a Razer laptop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or is it Alienware laptop?
It's a hybrid.
Right.
It's a hybrid laptop. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not VP can actually get much usage out of these pistols here. Because so far Mousesports have actually been quite effective in these anti-ecos. We've only really seen them be successful initially in that second round. And since then, really, the pistols have not been working out really as commonly as we've seen in other matchups. Right now, Mousesports are just, they're looking like they're a level above, a cut above.
A cut above. A tier 1 team. How far does the tier 1, how far down does tier 1 go for you?
It's a good question. I feel like at the moment it's like there's 5 or 6 teams, I think.
5 or 6 teams?
Yeah.
So would you say top 8 at a major or tier 1? Well, I guess you just said that they're not.
Yeah, I feel okay. So I feel like because I've said this sort of before that like because of the majors, like the top 8 for me, that is tier 1 Counter-Strike. But at the same time, I do feel like I feel like there's a clear difference between like I forget if it's 5 or 6 teams in my mind because I did this earlier where I wrote them all down.
They give you some easy ones. FaZe,
So,
Astralis.
Yeah, so FaZe, Astralis,
G2,
SK, G2,
SK,
North. I think North should be in there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not sure about. So that's 5, but I'm not sure about. I don't think I can. I can't put Liquid or Cloud9 there because
North America.
I feel like those teams strategically don't have enough depth to compete, and that's where they lack.
I think Liquid do,
but obviously they're in a really weird place right now.
Yeah.
With the whole stand situation, so
it's true. It's true.
So for me, it might be. I'm not sure if I can think of another one. There are some teams that are fairly close, but I feel like those 5, for me, have all the pieces, and there's definitely room to jump in there. Mousesports could definitely be one of those teams in there.
Virtus Pro.
VP, they're just somewhere by themselves. they're in their very own category.
They're tier 0, right?
Yeah, they're tier -1. Well, here we go. We got the third full buy of VP, finally getting a lot of work done here with the AWP. Snacks going for the jump shenanigans by E-Box. Will be beaten out by Oscar. And with that frag, actually, there could be an opening here for Mousesports because despite being down a man, they're on the T side, which is always, that's the position you want to be in if you're down a man. And
oh, this is interesting. Rotators might, oh, it's not going to be a rotator cutoff. It's going to come down to Taz in this rifle fight. Not be bullied. Bomb, however, upstairs. Somehow, oh wow. I think Oscar realizes not being shot that they're definitely working on a big flank, so I'm pretty sure Bialy heard the ladder, so he's just going to play this one very carefully.
do you believe in the man, Oscar?
They're giving him a ton of respect.
They are, and they should, I think. And the thing is, Oscar, I wonder if he's read the situation, because this is, I think, one of the more common setups you're going to see, the flank as well as the play around connector and CT. Oscar's pushing forwards, and this is really smart here because of that flank. And it's something that he will, I'm sure, be thinking about. And so this is amazing, because look how he's shuffled the positions here. Now he's not going to be able to be flanked. Oh! Unfortunate there for Oscar. Really interesting situation, because if you look at the positions he was taking, obviously Bialy would be covered for the defuse. So he really had to get that kill immediately to be able to stop Bialy.
Yeah, he's really playing the long con with that op, realized that they're going to take his time. They're going to try to crush default plant as best possible, and then only find out where he is adjust from there. Pasha had pretty good awareness, I think. Bialy called, okay, it's not defaults, we don't see him coming up the trains. Probably made some kind of crazy play. He didn't go up the ladder, so, you know, checks his flank. It's a pretty clean shot, too. I think Oscar didn't really give him much to work with. And BP win another round. 2 alive on that one. not awful. That's how get right plays.
Nice. Taz gets away as well with a cheeky kill. Very nicely done. Taz, the most experienced inner player in the world. I think it's fair to say. I often like to bring that up.
It is interesting.
Yeah, he's probably in a somewhat of a unique position.
We live in a world where
or a very rare position.
We don't celebrate experience. We celebrate youth.
It's true.
No country for old men.
We celebrate talent as opposed to work ethic.
There you go.
We're all backwards. We're all backwards.
We're all backwards.
Although in the Asian cultures they are the opposite. They're the right way around. It's all about the work ethic. And Snacks able to get the initial pick here, but the bomb will be planted. Although heavy favorites, VP are heavily favored into this retake. It's going to take a miracle here for Mousesports to find a way to win this round, especially now they're 2v5, they have no utility, no position. All they have is Oscar, but his back against the wall. He's on flames. I suppose he is on flames. Standing on flames. And that'll be the round for VP. They're again, really good. When VP take initiative, when they get the first pick, they win the round.
Taz takes it in his own hands, goes to the push. You want to throw, you can always throw something like that in somewhere. Ivy control, T-Con control. I think the number one thing you learn when you become more experienced is that there isn't someone behind every corner, right? And if you, with only 5 players on a map, this size or any other size, there's always an area that you can push. It's just about getting the right information and when you can push it.
Try to sneak through the gaps. Yeah, that's a really interesting idea, moving between the gaps, actually. Perhaps we can talk about that later. We have, once again, VP on those double orbs, which have been so good for them.
Look, I mean, good thing for VP, they won with 4 alive, but Mousesports have done such a great job with their economy. They have 3 straight up, like, full buys in a row. They don't look hampered at all.
There it is, Oscar with the frag. And it's at a very early timing too, so there's lots of ways Mousesports can play off of this. You can, essentially the thought process now for Mousesports is, what is the most predictable way that CT rotations are affected when a kill goes down to a player in that position? What is the optimal way to play against that? It's sort of how Mousesports should be thinking here. And look at the initiative taken by VP. So they don't want to allow Mousesports to be able to play the 5v4 advantage. They instead want to try to find a way to disrupt that. So I love this map control play, Bialy and teammate.
And Mousesports might know that they took teammate, so they have to make a decision whether or not they want to retake it or if they want to ignore him and leave him there and then keep an inventory of him. And it looks like they are going to try to move towards Inner. I don't mind that at all. Like, Inner is very far from T-Con, so that's a big flank. They can be aware of it, but they can just have their ladder guy watch.
And time is really an issue too, so their hand is in some sense forced. And that's a nice trade there from Rops onto Taz. Taz will be sent to the shop by force. Send man shot by force.
Grab a Twix on the way out.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, the T-Con control is negated. That player just, he's just got a long way to go. He's going to be worried about the fact that they might know he's there. And Inner was just as much of a problem as ever, even with that control. But yeah, it is good they try to get something in return. It's just a good adjustment by Mousesports. Yeah,
this is a good round by Mousesports. Their T side so far on train's been really nice. Obviously, I think if you really look to this demo, I think you may find that Mousesports' life has been made slightly easier in certain spots. And at least that's sort of how it felt to me. Like, it felt like it was all often way too easy for Sunny to sort of get out into the yard. It was too easy for Oscar to find an angle. Like, these are certain things that I have only sort of an intuition or a feeling about, which is why I said you may actually have to look into the demo to see, sort of understand.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How good Mousesports are actually playing. Oh my god, I love that! Flash. The double flash is really important, actually. We can go into the reason why in a second.
Wow.
This is another awesome round by Mousesports.
When you turn an entry into an ace.
Yeah. It's always a good one. Pasha with the Mag 7. He surely got this. He's got this! There we go. Some cash in the bag as well. Stay on the mag. Ooh, smart. Play in front of the smoke. And gets caught by Steeko, the one position that he could not deal with. And another round for Mousesports.
Rob did something kind of cool there. So I think it was Taz. Actually, Taz died first. Whoever rotated in, he would like cross to the site, the bomb site, as fast as possible, and then cross to the right of it, and that pulls the guy from the back of Pop to the other side of the bomb train, which allows your teammates to come down. Because that guy gets worried about him getting wrapped on. So even just Rob's crossing the bomb site as soon as possible and not just taking the fight in the middle means that he can't stand at that train.
Look at Sonny, man. He's frothing at the mouth. He's serious. Wants these kills. His hunger will be sated. So okay, so should we actually next round? Should we watch Rops only next round?
Let's watch Rops by himself.
Let's watch Rops only this round, and because now VP on a buy again. And Mo, you can tell us, you can talk to us about what Rops is doing.
Yeah. So I think I was telling you yesterday when I was watching his demos to make the On the Radar.
Yeah.
It was like a number of rounds that I could just watch and be able to pull so many great decisions from. And you can't even get that from a lot of great players that I've also watched for similar videos. So we'll see what they do if he does something quickly. I think they do want to keep the pace high. I think one thing about not giving your opponents respect also just plays into like keeping a lead really dramatic. And okay, so 4-on-4, he's holding pushes. I think his teammates are meant to work outside, and he's gonna want to speed it up. All right, 1-on-3, perfect. Let's see what he does. They have the bomb outside of T-Con control. He knows that they might try to spot it, but he needs to get a kill first, and he doesn't want to like rotate around to get the bomb before a kill is made to kick that off, because he knows that his odds are going to be too low of getting it. Now he has to decide, have they found the bomb yet? And as he sees no one enter, he might start to think that, so now he's going to see the rotate out. That's going to alarm him a little bit. And we still don't know if they actually do have vision. So he wants to challenge this, but the longer they delay, the more the thoughts intrude on him that, you know, maybe I should just think about saving if they're not going to give me this opening kill. And it's really Virtus Pro who don't want to make this job too hard for themselves.
Nice, and there it is.
He wasn't given a lot of opportunity there because his whole team died while his job was just to simply hold flank, and the bomb wasn't even near him.
But I think it's very cool though, regardless, just because, you know, holding on that one perspective, you get to see, okay, you know, what is their role within the team quite clearly. Then you get to see, as you were sort of highlighting, what is the constantly shifting, the dynamic best. What is the objective? Because it does shift all the time. As you gain more information and the picture becomes a bit more clear. So we should do that more, I think, in the future. And Mousesports will go for an explosion outside, and it's looking pretty good here. Christian gets up on top of the train despite dropping a few players. They gain some position. If only Sonny and Oscar could get a couple kills here, it would be good to go, but the flank is in. The rotation from the B player, Taz, will be enough to seal the deal. And that's the 5-round scoreline for VP. It's not amazing, but it's workable.
That was quite back and forth, and some of these rounds, Virtus Pro made it look simple. They kept 4 alive on like a couple of their rifle rounds, but then just got absolutely decimated on the other ones. So it's kind of a strange half as we're used to seeing with Virtus Pro. 5 armor for Mousesports.
They want to fight, man. It's going to be a scrap.
3 straight up inner. Oh, they're pushing too.
I like this. This is awesome. Pushing Pop Dog at the same time.
Oh, Neo's going to get the sandwich.
Poor Neo, man. He might get some kills here. Nope, he's Steeko, first man, is going to take him down. I love this idea from Mousesports, though, just because B is the very common play. They're taking the initiative, and if a team plays slow, they're in position with flank set up, and VP are in so much trouble because they're playing too slow. But it is a pistol round, and it will forever come down to headshots. Strategies often can take a back seat.
Definitely.
Compared with a very nice box, which provides you a headshot angle and some good safe cover. So the bomb has to be collected again for the T side. That's really the big problem here for Stika with another one. That's 2 for him now in this round. Pasha with 45 seconds, an ample amount of time to try to find the win in this round.
Something that's interesting is crosshair placement. Like there, you saw Stiko just crouch on a bowl of snacks, and everyone's got perfect crosshair placement for the the headshot level when someone's standing, and some people will crouch around corners to try to negate that. The only reason you wouldn't do that very often is because if you're crouched, your model's wider, so you can be seen more quickly, and also you have less speed, so they'll see you for longer. But as we can see there, it was like really beneficial that he missed the first bullet completely.
And then once that's happened, it's less likely they're going to hit, or that recoil starts to play into it and everything. That's a snowball effect.
Some players like AZK actually have like quite low crosshair placement. They aim for kind of where the head would be if you were crouching, so you're middle of the body, and sometimes Cold Zero does too. And you do more damage to the stomach than you do to the chest, so it kind of works both ways. Like, also you can let your recoil go up if you aim at the middle of their body as opposed to pull down and kill them in the head in the 4th bullet or something like that. So
yeah, I have a bad habit of starting on the head and then pulling down, man, too much.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's all about using the right tools for the right job. VP trying to get some damage in with the pistols, but they are not going to be able to achieve all that much. Again, I do have to say that I really enjoyed Mousesports' pistol round. I think it was really smart, and I think it'd be cool to see more teams doing that. The only risk that you run is that if the Ts are sort of going for a really fast hit onto the B site, that let's say you get a 4v2 or something on the CTs or 4v3, and you get those headshots, and then the people on the flank are absolutely screwed. So there is a pretty large degree of risk. I would love to see that play out if the Ts actually went for a fast inner hit against that pistol round. I would love to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You're closing the distance for them too. Like you're closing the distance for the Glock, so that is really can be really scary. Maybe they only did it because they were pretty confident people would like to go outside on that round. That's one thing that's hard to know when you're watching 2 pro-level teams, how much they study each other.
And all that Kevlar as well definitely helps that sort of a play. So VP looking for perhaps just smoke, get the bomb down. I mean, there's not too much else that they can do without having any degree of firepower. So it's going to be Sunny to try to deal with this, as well as Mr. Inner, Mr. Oscar.
Switching a burst. Just making sure they know someone's there, I suppose. Smalley's going to be a big problem. They have no more utility, and that flash doesn't do anything now.
Oh, that could be a good nade. That is massive. Rops with some brilliant damage there. The follow-ups are pretty easy as well. And just like that, the round is done. And Mousesports are going to be one closer to 16. 13-5 the score at the moment. VP on the worst end of it, on the short end of the stick.
That is what's so nice about Molotovs. It's really cool because smokes are so strong that without Molotovs it'd be crazy if you didn't have things like Molotov. Molotovs also negate flashes or make flashes useless, so it's nice when the Molotov goes down, kills half the smoke and all the flashes as well.
Nice. Taz finds the very fast timing for the first pick. Again, now it's about that 5v4. Last time we saw VP do the right thing on the CT side, take initiative to get map control, but we're actually going to see Christian win a challenge from Neo, so they don't really necessarily need to do anything too aggressive now, Mousesports, if they don't want to. This alley position is so hard to play for CTs. I think that position is so hard. I feel like it's one of the hardest CT positions in Counter-Strike.
It's got to be one of the hardest. It's straight up one of the scariest at the very least.
Yeah.
It's just such a, I don't know, knowing that he can be posted there with any number of guns at any moment, you never want to stare down Ivy.
Yeah, it's the implications are pretty huge if you die. Oscar, not really too much of a hope here, I don't think, in being able to accomplish something. He's locked out of that bomb site. He can try to rotate here, but the problem is that his team has thoroughly lost the bomb site. It's just Robs, but now Robs is eliminated, so Oscar is just going to try to take some shots and get some damage in. But VP look pretty good for this. Unless they make some mistakes here and give some free peeks to Oscar, there's no way that he can do anything. So we're just trying to save this AWP.
Not even Oscar.
Where's the money at here? The Oscar Rops combo in the clutch is actually amazing to watch. I think we've seen some ridiculous stuff where on this map, actually, I remember one round, I forget who they were playing, but it was like a 2v5, and they were on the CT side, and then Rops is basically already going to save. But Oscar's like, I'm just going to kind of go for it. And he gets like 2 kills, and all of a sudden Rops is like, whoa, wait, what? So he comes in to help as well. And then all of a sudden they win the entire round, get the defuse and everything, 2v5. So, because of Oscar getting 3 incredible shots. So, can never count him out.
What do you think it is with the ability to process information faster than others? Like Rops and Oscar definitely have that to a certain degree. It feels like they get to slow the game down a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think you can put systems in place. If you're not someone that's naturally very good at those things, I think you can very easily, if you know what the right process is, or how somebody's mind like Rops works, then you can absolutely get it to a very high level. Maybe you won't be top 1 in the world or something. I think you can be top,
Do you think anybody?
Top 99. Sorry?
Do you think anybody, within reason, can be global elite?
This is a really interesting idea, because let's continue this after the round, because I think this is an interesting discussion. It might take a while. This is cool from Mousesports. We're seeing aggression here to take over a teammate, or T-Con as you call it. And that's some big information. VP now in a position where they should definitely check it before they try to run the set piece into the A site, because otherwise they're going to run into some problems. And that might give them a false sense of security, actually getting that frag, because now they're going to run into Sunny. And look at the forward setup around T-Con. This is actually, now I'm saying it, this could be the perfect response from Mousesports if they catch those 2 players in teaming first.
Chris might get some free shots off.
Oh, that is a great shot from Chris. He's going to get 2 off the rifle. Beautiful stuff there with that M4. And now it's just Neo going in. He's doing a great job so far with the double on the entry. But the problem is, time and the bomb are the big problems here. He's got to go recollect that. He won't be able to make the gauntlet run. So Mousesports will win the rounds.
Green Train has been a very popular train to play against Ivy but just because even if they come towards the outside, you have like a headshot angle with like a million different ways that you can play it. So, and it's just perfect. Like you can't even wrap the whole bomb anymore safely.
It's actually an awesome setup because of the way that Mousesports were playing 2 players so committed into the very deep positions, which, as you say, like it keeps Chris completely safe on that train, where otherwise, you're not really that safe unless you have a very forward presence on the A yard. So it all just works out like that smoke that the T's dropped across ends up helping the CTs massively because of those positions. So it's just, it's beautiful how it all comes together there for Mousesports. And so the question now really is whether or not VP can bounce back with an awful buy.
Let's see what they do. T-Con, ladder, not going for Ivy control, and Mousesports are testing it a little bit. They have a relatively passive setup, but they've got good enough guns. They don't think they feel pressure to go for mat control. They also have spotted inner this entire time and no one's crossed. There's one situation where that might matter. The smoke's going on outside and that pushes the inner flank early, and I'm not sure if they're actually going to change up and go inner, so no. So they're going to get flanked.
Sunny large and in charge and dead. Now, very dead. But Robs is going to be launching himself out of the pop dog there for a quick kill here. Still a chance as Chris is able to deflect stacks. Just clotheslining him with the M4 there. So Chris is still alive. He's doing so much damage here. The VP players are in trouble. They haven't got the bomb planted yet either. Chris with a nice flick there to take down Pash. The bomb now freshly planted. As Chris will make his way forwards. A tough situation here for VP, I think, but yeah, with the smoke is going to find himself the kill there. Shot down very low to 17, but he may just survive here. Oscar's on the AWP. Should likely be thinking about drawing that pistol soon. Let's see if he can spot anything out here. 2 players to deal with, very tough. He's got only flashbangs, doesn't like the look of this. You can't blame him either. If Piani and Neo play it perfectly, he will lose the round. And so I think that's the level of respect that he's giving them, that they will not make that mistake. So your question is really interesting because of, not because of the answer, but because of, you know, of the why, right? Obviously, because I think the answer is it's really interesting for me because I'm someone that thoroughly believes that anybody can do anything, basically, with the right approach, right? Anybody can learn anything, become very good at anything. You may never be the best at anything, but you can certainly be like top 1%. Like you can certainly be very elite.
I'm definitely I think I'm too deterministic. I can't escape it.
So yeah, so you're from the opposite perspective.
Yeah, well.
But this is why the answer for me is interesting, because I've come both ways now. So that's like, I'm starting to believe in the more deterministic elements.
Oh really?
Yeah.
As you get older, or? And
I've actually had some hands-on examples of you know, certain people being unable to, no matter how much time, dedication, like good approaches, I've been unable to actually make the significant improvements that I would think should just come easily from that effort. So, what? How did we miss this? Oh my god, what the hell? Pasha just got into CT spawn. I don't know if he spawned there or what happened, but Pasha is going to continue to just crush Mousesports. Steeko will take him down eventually, but he has certainly done a lot of damage. That's funny. That is just great.
I actually did an interview with, Snacks had this really great quote. I became a big fan of him. He had this documentary that I think Ocelot made that he was in, and he mentioned that you don't even need to be really good. You just need 5 friends who are willing to work towards the same goal to have a great team. Yeah. And then I asked Taz the same question. This was a couple years later at E-League. And I asked him if he thought that was true, and he's like, no, of course not. You need some talent. And people, maybe he was saying at this point, you know, you not only have to be dedicated, you also have to be very good. And I think at the very least, I don't know. It's a big argument. There's a lot of.
I agree with him completely there. I've had experiences in teams with that like that as well. Like where some people just don't, they're really good friends, but they just don't, not cut out for it, even if they have the dedication. Yeah, they just can't keep up. Some people. But Oscar able to, with his aggression, be able to secure the bomb there in the halls. And the problems here for Pasha. He's the last man left. MVP not in the best of positions. Pasha, they're able to get a quick frag with the CZ. Now with the AWP and a minute to play with, this could be on, but Steeko is holding the angle for Pasha, and he does not have any idea. It's 15-8 now. Mousesports 1 away from a convincing result against VP, which is pretty cool to see, just because I really enjoyed the T side of Mousesports, because everything went according to plan. It looked really clean. But at the same time, maybe VP were playing a bit too loose in certain spots. It's hard to really say.
It is kind of hard to say. I mean, we saw the same thing from both teams in the first half as well. So, you know, sometimes train is a little bit of luck when you get outside. Getting a lucky timing on one kill can just open the entire side up. Sometimes it has to do with knowing how your opponent's going to rotate in response to frags. But in this situation, VP didn't give himself enough room to make any mistake. Well, does he see Chris, or could he see to the left side, or only the right? That's the question.
Pasha will make his way forward. Again, we talked about how difficult this position can be. You're constantly, as the CT, juggling. They must get information, but they must not give away a kill. I must try to slow down their progress, but they must not give away a kill. Like, it's very hard. Yeah. Because if you do die, it's much better to fall back than to die. But then if you don't want to give away for free at the same time, you have to sort of slow them down in some way. Because if VP are able to split Connector and Ali at the same, or T-Con and Ali at the same time, then they're able to have a very effective offense. And you can see that's really coming into play here.
Yeah, you touched on a really good point. Like, that's what makes Ivy so difficult. It's not getting 3 kills. It's making it seem like you're constantly going to fight and not actually dying in the process, and then maybe also getting a kill on top of that.
It's so hard.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, and I feel like you are put in this position where sometimes like you're going to die. It's like you're really not going to be able to do much more than die, and people like you have to sort of accept it. It's kind of like there are just some certain positions in Counter-Strike where, like on B in Mirage, for example, you're not necessarily expected to get many kills. It's not like you're playing badly, and that can be the same thing with dying sometimes. Sometimes you're going to die. Sometimes that's just going to happen, and you can't avoid it too much. And there are certainly spots where it's good to die as well, which is, you know, when you're playing with a teammate. Like, let's say, you know, the peak that you're about to make is, you know, you're going to... I mean, obviously, if it's like a bait setup or something, you're probably not going to do anything but die. But you're, like, relying on your teammate as well. Like, you're setting somebody else up.
Yeah, it is interesting how on eco rounds the meta changes completely, or the way you look at your teammates changes completely. You know, if someone says, like, I'm going to bait you, that's perfectly fine on an eco. In fact, that you both understand that that's worth, like, totally worth it. Whereas on a rifle, that might be irresponsible.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, again, you need to have like more clearly defined sort of expectations for who's going to do sort of what, so everyone is feeling comfortable.
The eco is the upside down.
I like that. It certainly is, man. It's the CZ's a scary dude. That's like that's the most evil creation ever.
The Demigorgon of guns.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, we've got Mousesports here trying to defend with their weapons, their limited arsenal. Oscar has the ult, but he's been out of position. He was in the yard, I guess, the A yard. So Mousesports can't do much here to resist. So VP holding on for longer. But yeah, so it is very, very interesting, like the idea of how far someone can go inherently with performance and improvement. Because I think I'm trying to think what I think may be the biggest sticking point. I think the biggest sticking point for most people is generally just approach and mentality. I think those are the two biggest things. I think most people don't have a understanding of how to approach improvement, because unlike, you know, conventional sports, we don't have, you know, years and years and years and years and years of coaching, and it's not like just understood that this is sort of how you do it. Whereas everyone's sort of just playing a game because it's fun. And you know, you don't often get good guidance in that sense, so you have to like work it out by yourself.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. That's interesting. I never even considered that.
That's sort of like, that was the very reason why I made content, because I love that journey by myself, and I was like, okay, I figured out some stuff. I want to teach people what I figured out about myself. Maybe it will help others. Interesting dynamics around Pop Dog, the peaking dynamics for the players playing that position these days, due to the way that people are double clearing it with, you know, or rather clearing it with double Molotovs and the double peak on the drop. It's encouraging players to actually, or either go very deep to actually look up the ladder to see if they're standing above, about to set something up, or actually just not even play the position entirely. So I find it really interesting how all those positions develop. Same thing with the meta around... Oh, hello. What that for?
Yeah, the meta for Train changed completely when you could start hearing people throw the grenades because of how ladder was played. Because now it's actually much easier to stand at the bottom of the ladder, which it makes more of a stable spot, which dedicates the CTs into having to spend a lot of time thinking about how to take it. Or the Terra, sorry.
And Mousesports are about to win this one off the back of a somewhat safe rounds. Oh, also Quartz, Bialy walking straight through the smoke. Is he going to be able to do this? He has 4 health as well. He's got a couple flashbangs. Another kill for Bialy. He's not stopping Stiko, the last man standing with only a P250. You can't like his chances all that much. He's got 30 seconds. It's not enough. 4K for Bialy. Keeps somehow Virtus Pro in the game, but still there's money for Mouse.
That was very well done. He obviously getting the first kill just by moving quickly, not letting Roster get into position, and then capitalizing on the first peak on his second frag. So
very nicely done. How far can VP go off the back of that? He's given them a lifeline as Bialy, and now it's time for his teammates to sort of make good of that. Chris wanting to take the initiative on Ali finally.
Oh boy. He's going to fly across the screen.
Oh, there we go. Chris, beautiful stuff there. Not phased whatsoever by that situation. Makes it look smooth. What a professional. Chris J, the professional.
awesome.
I mean, he is the Flying Dutchman. He understands all things airborne.
That's right.
Saz is out there in the yard here, equalizing things. Christo with that AWP. This is much better position for Mousesports to find themselves in. Now Neo has to go for the plant here. Now he has the clutch as Bialy last round. But Rups is creeping around the train, and Neo can't spot it out. That's the round and the match, or the map rather, for Mousesports. 16-11 on train. And I think we can credit most of it to that brilliant T-side they had.
Definitely. 10-5 start. They also won the second pistol, which was big.